No offense, but the Villages is a waiting to die concentration of elderly MAGA, hotbed of cranky old authoritarian conservatives, generally. These are the kind of comments I get, along with some other questions. I'm going to address those today. Let's get started. Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm Rusty Nelson and welcome to the channel. If you haven't been here before, you haven't subscribed, go ahead and please just smash that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. Okay, I'm waiting. Thanks to all the people that subscribed. I really appreciate it, and hit the like button. And today I will cover comments like that, along with some other comments. We'll talk a little bit about Bob and Liz. For those that have been here before, you know about Bob and Liz. They're going to be coming up soon. And what I like to do is take some of the comments out that I think that would pertain to a lot of people and go ahead and answer them. So this is comments, answers, questions, and all that stuff put together. Let's go ahead and we'll just get to the first one. First question comes from, I guess it's Slyn, I'm not really sure. Are there other options besides single-family homes, like townhouses or condos? If so, could you please show them? Happy holidays. Obviously, I got this question during the holidays, but the answer is kind of, maybe, yes, sort of. And without getting real technical, there is a small area up north, and I'll show you where this is, that has some condos, villas in there, and it's right up by Spanish Springs. And then the other option is there is also apartments. So let's jump in. We'll go ahead and take a look at those. Here we go. Now, first thing I need to say is I am not a real estate agent, and I don't represent the Villages in any way, shape, or form. I have nothing to do with the Villages. I don't work for the Villages. They don't pay me. I'm just trying to educate you on how to use these maps and the resources that are available to you. The second part of this is, and this is kind of important, you'll probably see some prices on here. I don't talk about the prices of anything or the rates of anything because they constantly change. So you need to either call an agent or call the information with the Villages and find out more information. I'm sure they'd be glad to help you. They've always been super friendly to me. First thing we're going to talk about is the lofts. Now, those are the apartments. And I will say the majority of homes and places that are sold in the Villages are single family homes. That's just the way it is. I mean, I'm taking a wild guess, 98%, but there are a couple of places that are a little different. And the first of those is a place called the Lofts. Now, let's get me off of here and I'll show you how to use the map. So this is the villages.com home finder. This is a great resource. If you're looking for a home, you can just if you look up here, you can pick a model. You can find out all the models. You can do pre-owned, new. You can look for lots and everything. But today we're talking about the apartments. Now the apartments are right here. It says lofts right under my finger right there. And just click on that. And that's what I'm saying. And it'll take you to all the information about the lofts. Now, in the banner up there, there's a picture of the lofts. There's also a little YouTube video here that they have done. And then there's some stuff about the amenities, floor plans, and request information. And you can see share with a friend, which is exactly what I'm doing here. I'm sharing this with my friends. And you can also sign in if you rent from them. Now, I really don't know anything about them except for the fact that they have different lease lengths, I think. And I did talk to somebody there, and I'm telling you what, they were super friendly. So go ahead and give them a call. I don't know whether they changed this little video in or out, but there is the phone number right there. It's the lofts are located right next or almost right on top of the Brownwood Square, and they have their own little set of amenities. They have a pool there. There's some shuffleboard and that type of thing. So definitely give them a call if you're interested in apartments. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about, and I will let's go back to the map. Let's go back to the map, and I'm going to show you exactly where this is. Instead of using the Villages map, which is great, I'm going to jump on to Google here, and there, as far as I know, there's only like 3 little areas of condos in the Villages. If there are other areas, please let me know. I'm sorry, I just don't know about them. But there's the Villages Spanish Springs, Vista Largo Villas, and Vista Sonoma Villas. And they're all located in the same area, just around Spanish Springs, the town square of Spanish Springs. Right down here where you just saw that flash right there where it says Winn-Dixie, to get you oriented, that is Sumter. Now, Google draws this kind of like a red line, and it says Villages, but the Villages is actually larger than that for those that aren't familiar. But up here in the right-hand corner, there's the Spanish Springs Town Square. I'm going to kind of zoom in on that, which is right here. And as I zoom in, this is the town square right here. And around the outer area along the road right here is a group of homes. And these are the 3 areas that I just talked about. The northern part is the village of Spanish Springs. Bring up the satellite. This is the village, the town square. These condos completely surround it. Now, this is an older area, and I'm going to keep zooming in, and we'll drop down onto the street. So this is Vista Key Largo, and you can see it's a little gated area. And then right across the street is the villas of Spanish Springs. Now, to show you what they look like, I jumped on to Estately. Here's some pictures of recently sold. Let's jump down. We'll see recently sold. So this is the northern area right here, just to give you an idea. Here's one for $415, and they're not exactly the prettiest things outside, but they're, you know, a good size. This is over 2,500 square feet, 3 bedrooms, and you can go onto this site and kind of take a look at, you know, things yourself. But this is what's available. And that sold for $415. Now that was pretty much one of the upper ones. Let's see, this is $308. That is the areas that I know of that have condos. Those are the 2 options that I know about besides buying a house. Now, they are villas, so I don't know how the HOA works on that. I know it's a little bit different with villas versus condos, that type of thing. So I'm not quite sure. That's something you need to check out with. You call the Villages up directly and talk to one of their agents. Or you can also, if they're pre-owned homes, you can also go through the MLS. Either way will work. But I'd give the Villages a call, definitely, if you're interested in those type of apartments. I'm sure they'd help you out. Next question is, and remember, I don't work for the Villages. Next question, Gary Abbott, Rusty, great video. I think you're best. Okay, my head's getting big. I think you're best. I purchased in Citrus Cove and doing my builder walkthrough later this month. I have a question regarding your experience with Empty Nest. How did it go, and did you compare other similar services? Keep up the good video work. Well, thanks a lot, Gary. I really appreciate that. I hope these are helpful to people. And go ahead and subscribe. But if you don't know, you can go back and look at when I purchased my house. I went through that and I said that I used Empty Nest. Now, a lot of you may not know what Empty Nest is. So if you're away from your home, you can't leave these homes, just leave them, right? You kind of have to keep up with them. Like, you can't turn the air conditioner off because you need to keep the humidity down in them. So they have a program with the village's property management company, and they will actually come and once a week have somebody come and visit your house, run through things like they'll make sure the dishwasher works, they'll flush the toilets, they actually clean the toilets for me to make sure you're not getting a ring around there. They came, and my newspapers, I get the newspaper. Well, I called up to have it stop delivery on it, but for some reason that didn't go through, who knows, and they kept delivering. So all of a sudden I got a note from the empty nest program. Hey, I don't know if you know it or not, there's a bunch of papers sitting outside your doorway. I brought them inside and put them on your workbench. And so then I knew to call them up. So that's pretty much what that is for. Now, and they send you a report, which is really nice. Now, I have to be honest, I didn't I know there are other programs. I know there's people that live locally that do it kind of on the side type of thing. But when I moved into my house, I had a lot going on. So I decided that for 1 year, I was going to use all of, although they're not Village's programs, because the Village Property Management Company is not actually part of the Village's. It is in a roundabout way, but it is not. And I decided to use all the things that were kind of larger names and connected with the Villages. And part of that was the Empty Nest program. And I said, okay, I'm going to try them for a year. And that's what I did. So far, I've been extremely happy with them. They've been there on time. They've done things. So when you leave, you basically, for the most part, except for, you have to get old food out of the refrigerator and stuff, you just leave. And they will come turn your water off. They'll fix the blinds. They'll run some things. They'll check things out, make sure everything's good. And then they come back, I think, every week to 10 days and give you a report of what's going on, if they saw any problems, whether there's anything to notice. And I actually did, if you're leaving your home for a while, I did a video up, and I'll put the link up top. And so far, the Empty Nest guys have been really good. I know I can always get a hold of them, and something beeping there. But anyway, so Gary, that's it. I've been really happy. I didn't check the other ones out. I'm sure there are some good ones. If anybody knows of other good ones, go ahead and put the notes down in the comments, and I'll make sure I read these. Anyway, that's about it for that one. On to the next question. All right, next question, and it was Steve Cox. And do you plan on opening a gallery in the Villages? I have no plans to open up a gallery in the Villages. As many of you know, this right behind me is my gallery here in Kennett Square, Pennsylvania. I am also, I kind of refrain from putting these up and the other things. I get a lot of questions about the photography and what do I do and what do I shoot and what's behind me. We can't see it. So I right after this, I put together a little 1:30 seconds. So hang through that of some of my photography so you get a general idea. But I am a storm chasing guide during the summer in Tornado Alley, and I take a lot of photographers out chasing storms, tornadoes, weather, that type of photography. And I'm actually doing a talk down in the Villages on February 24th for the Intermediate Photography Club. So February 24th at 1 o'clock, Intermediate Photography Club. There's 3 photography clubs. You can check it out if you want to stop by. It's at 1 o'clock. Anyway, so I put together this 1:30 seconds right here for people to watch, and this is the only time I'll do this. So go ahead and watch for 1:30 seconds. This next one, it brings a smile to my face because I love these guys. They're kind of almost like my neighbors. In fact, when I look out my back window, I can see over to their place, and in my security cameras, I can see their house. And so this is Anne wrote this and said, this was so informative. And this was a video I did called Buying a Designer Home. Is there a chance for a follow-up interview? We'd love to see the finished project, especially the pool. A lot of people have asked about the pool. Wishing you every happiness in your new home. I figure they're talking about them, not me. and then Asta wrote, it says, did they move in? And so I'm going to, for those of you that haven't watched this video, and I suggest you go watch this video if you have any desire to see about, somebody that just moved into a home and a designer home, but I'll play this clip really, really quickly.
The channel contacted me, and they have just bought a designer house and went through the whole spiel with the house, and their names are you gotta say it louder than that.
Bob and Liz.
Bob and Liz. Bob and Liz. And Bob and Liz and I are gonna go out and find someplace quiet after having a good lunch at Cody's. And we're going to talk about what they went through in putting their designer house together.
That was Bob and Liz, and that was the beginning when we were out having lunch. And I just got done talking with Bob and Liz. And when I go down, or when we're both down there in February, we're going to do a video on all the things that have happened since they bought the house. Now, if you haven't watched that video and you have any desire in buying a house, you might want to watch it. I'll put the link right up above wherever it goes. And anyway, make sure you subscribe so you get notified when they do their video. And I really look forward to it and can't wait to get down and see them. On to the next question. Whoop! Stop the tape. Before I continue, I had to add this in. If you have any questions that you'd like me to ask Bob and Liz when we do the walkthrough or whatever we're going to do with their house, go ahead and put them down in the comments. And I can't guarantee it, but I will try to ask them. Make sure you subscribe so you get notified when it comes up. And now we'll go on to the next one. This next one is not really a question. It's more of a statement from Pat because, well, let me read it really quick. Be careful about renting a golf car or using one included in your rental home. It may not have insurance coverage for you if you are in an accident. Now, I'm going to say ahead of time, I am not an insurance agent. I'm not a professional about this, but I'll tell you some of the things that I've learned and I know. One, if you are renting a house from the villages for a lifestyle or preview, the golf cart that's in there is insured. Now, this is what I know. Don't quote me on this. Is insured by the village's golf carts for them. In other words, the only thing that I could find out about that it was insured at the time that I did my lifestyle was it was insured for theft. So in other words, if it got stolen, that's it. Besides that, if you smashed into somebody, if you ran into somebody, whatever that may be, as far as I could find out, there was no coverage for you. Now, if you're renting privately from somebody, it's a different story. They may have their golf cart insured. You need to check your personal policy. It just so happens that after I dug really deep, and it just so happens I'm with USAA, and when I got somebody that really knew what they were talking about, they told me that I was insured with with a rental golf cart. I didn't believe them. So I actually made them send me the documents saying that I was covered. I would say a lot of people are driving these rented golf carts down there thinking they have insurance, but don't have insurance because it is very hard to get insurance from an insurance company on a rented golf cart. So do your due diligence and find out exactly. Now, are there a ton of golf cart accidents down there? No, there's not. but people actually have been killed in a golf cart. So that's all I'm going to say, except for I am not an insurance agent. I don't sell golf carts. I have nothing to do with the golf carts at the villages, blah, 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 blah. Don't listen to me. Okay, on to the next stuff. All right, this is a long one that Felicia wrote, and I'm not going to be I'm not going to be able to answer the whole thing. I'm like already thinking about it as I'm talking right now. But let me read. I'm going to go through the first part of it, and then there's a completely second part, and that both deserve an answer. Hi, Rusty. Thank you so much for your videos. I really appreciate your segments on life in the villages. Do you mind doing a segment on what you don't like in the villages? Not trying to be a Debbie Downer, but I really would like to hear your perspective. I am having a hard time. Excuse me, I'm going to cough. I'm having a hard time trying to find out big things I don't like in the villages. There are things that I've heard that don't seem to bother me. Like people say that it's overcrowded. Now, that depends on where you're coming from. When you first moved to the villages and you lived up in Spanish Springs and there wasn't that many people, I'm sure it wasn't crowded, you know, but now there's a lot of people. It's a small town. In different parts of the year, it's more crowded than others. It doesn't bother me because even though I live in a small town, I got traffic that runs all day long right outside here, and I just don't have that much of it. So that really doesn't bother me. I lived in California for a while. So my home, I had almost a 3,000 square foot home, 4 bedrooms in Northern California. And my next door neighbor was probably only 10 feet from me. And it was a nice, typical suburb neighborhood. And so the house that I live in now is about 10 feet from the person next to me also. And it really that doesn't bother me. For somebody that wants a home, their primary home, up in the hills and have 5 acres, it's going to be a little bit of a shock. Now, there is 2 other people that Jerry and Linda, that do videos on the villages. They, from what I understand, listening to their videos, they had a big, like a lot of farm, ranch, and stuff like that. Oh, I'm beeping. And they, when they came down here, I'm sure it was a lot smaller. I don't seem to think, I'm sure they missed some of it, but I'm sure he doesn't miss cutting a lawn. But I'm going to go back on that and say, I'm going to try to do a video on things that I don't like, because there's a philosophy or a mental thing that I have to go through, or I had to go through when I got down here, because in my mind, it was this retirement thing and everybody was 180 years old and blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to do that down the road, Felicia, but I'm going to try to get to your second part of your question. But to answer, no, there's nothing major that I go, and I researched this. I mean, I spent some time down here, I researched it, and there's just nothing major. The biggest thing that sticks out in my head, and this is a positive thing, is the Morris family. And I've had a chance to go back through the history of this. And if you look at businesses, and this is a business, if you look at businesses, most businesses that were inherited one level down, they don't do well. Business, I mean, do your research. This is just statistics. They usually go under. The people in the family don't handle it. When they go 2 generations down, they're toast. And that's usually what happens. It's the complete opposite as far as I'm concerned. With this family has done such a great job in the business with this, and a lot of people disagree with me, but they've provided an awfully nice place for people to live if you want this type of active lifestyle. So that's the positive end to it. Now, on to the second part. Sorry, I digress. So we understand that downsizing is a necessary evil no matter where we go. And truthfully, in our current home, how much space do he and I really use? At least half of our home is occupied by children and stuff we need to let go. With that said, do you have any advice on how to maximize space storage in the village's home? In my opinion, you are rocks in the... No, okay. So I can tell you about things that I've heard. I'm the wrong person to ask about taking things down there because when I moved down there, I kind of cut the cord on almost everything I had, and I said, I'm going to buy everything new when I get down there. I walked into the house, I had to order a mattress and a big screen TV, and that's where I started. The only thing that's probably not new is my camera equipment. I will say that what I've noticed, and it seems to be a building trend, is a third garage. In other words, either another full-size 3-car garage if the house is big enough, but a lot of the new homes that are being built have the extra golf cart garage in there. And that was one of the primary things for me when I bought my place was that extra golf cart garage. Also, a lot of people say, well, I'm going to build stuff up in the attic. You know, they put attic steps in. It gets hot up there. So anything you put up there, you have to make sure that it's going to withstand temperatures. I have heard from a lot of people this. Yeah, we packed up a lot of stuff and brought it down. Now we don't know what to do with it. It's in storage. My thing is probably bring less than what you think you need. If you're going to bring more, get ready to get some storage and get rid of it, because a lot of the furniture that you have up there, dark, heavy furniture, a lot of people don't like it down here. I have some gorgeous cross-cut oak bedroom masculine furniture that I absolutely love that just would never fit down there. So that's one thing. And the other thing is when I moved into my place, I have a small walk-in closet, and I thought, holy cow, this thing's smaller than my pantry. Now that I'm down there, I can't figure out how to fill it because you only have very few wintry kind of clothes, you know, for like now when it gets down kind of cool. But besides that, during the whole summer and everything, if you're moving down there permanently, it's shorts, t-shirts. That's just the way life is. If you get dressed up, you must have a hot date or an anniversary or something like that. Anyway, that's about the best I can think of it. Expect to if you bring down stuff that you're probably not going to use all of it, and your walk-in closet, do that thing where they say, you know, you put it on the shelf. If you don't use it for a year, send it off to Goodwill. Now, the next thing that I'm going to talk to, these are real boogaboos on these next ones, man. You're going to get to see a couple of the comments that I get that you guys never see. So let's go on to that. I'm going to start laughing with this one already. Let me explain how this comment and answer thing works. You guys write a comment down there. I read every single comment that comes through. And when I read them, I get some, and thank God I don't get very many bad ones. I mean, I really thank you for maintaining and not calling me an idiot with 6 heads or whatever. But I read every single one, and I get the ones that crack me up are the ones that are, I don't even know how to explain it, but right away, as soon as I start reading it, I can tell this is somebody that has stumbled onto the channel, and I obviously watched some of this stuff, and I appreciate you watching, but then make some kind of stupid comment that makes me realize that they have no idea what the Villages is. They have absolutely no idea what they are. Now, let me read this. I'll go ahead and read these, and then you people that live in the Villages are going to crack up laughing at this because they know that these are so far from the truth. But anyway, here we go. No offense, but this is a waiting to die concentration of elderly MAGA, hotbed of cranky old authoritarian conservatives generally. Now I'm going to read the next one really quick. Just what I want. An aluminum box in hell surrounded by angry old people that depreciates in value the minute I walk in the front aluminum door. So let's start with this one really quick because I can nail this one really quick. First of all, Clifford, you sound like an angry person to begin with. Now, I can't tell how old you are, but you seriously sound like an angry person. And if you come from a nice old Victorian stick house that sits on a hill and you see a house with aluminum siding, I guess that's where this comes from. But these houses are built to code for hurricane. I guarantee you there's plenty of places that are built around the United States that are wood outside homes or brick homes or whatever that are not built to that standard. Now, I live in a stucco house, and I've seen the homes that are, I call them stick homes, built with wood, that type of home. And these homes are solid. I mean, they're all built to code. They all got great windows. They all got great roofs. So anyway, but let me talk about this one that depreciates in value the minute I walk in the front door. Let me tell you something. I went back and did some research over the Villages, and these homes do not depreciate. The fact is, and I know this is a little unusual at times, but my home that I bought in August has already gone up over 10%. Yes. So I'm not sure what he's talking about depreciation, because even in the bad times in the Villages, the sales plateaued, but the houses, as far as I could tell, didn't take any big dump like the rest of the country. So let's go to this next part of it. But this is a waiting to die concentration. To me, waiting to die is stuck in a home on a hill someplace in the middle of nowhere, doing nothing. I mean, that's it. People come to the Villages to live. And that's exemplified by people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, all living together, going out and playing pickleball, playing golf, the movie theaters, plays, music, bocce. I mean, any kind of level of physical activity. You get up in the morning before the sun comes up, and there's people out walking all over the place, whether they're walking their dogs, whether they're running, they're on bikes. You go to the Villages squares at night, there's people out dancing, having a good time, out to dinner, all these different groups and clubs. I don't know how old you are that wrote this, but if you're in your 30s or 40s, let me tell you, you're going to blink and you're going to be in your 50s, 60s, and 70s. It happens that quick. And I really hope you can find a place like the Villages, because you will feel alive. Now, elderly MAGA hotbed of cranky old authoritarian conservatives. Woo, that's a mouthful, and I could talk about that for a long time. I'm not going to get into politics, but let me tell you a quick story. When I came down to the Villages, yes, I admit it is probably mostly Republican conservatives. But if you want to bitch about the Republican conservative MAGA type people, if let's assume you're right and they're all that way, I don't mind living in a nice, clean neighborhood. I don't mind not waking up like in California and finding a homeless person sleeping on my front door. Now, I feel for homeless people, don't get me wrong, but I just don't want them sleeping on my front door like they were in California. Cranky people. I am amazed every single day that I walk around the villages to the point where I swear there's something in the water about being happy down there. And I'm not saying there's not. It's a big, big town, city. It's like as long as any big city in the country. It takes 30 minutes to drive from one end to the other. I haven't met any of the cranky people. I mean, they all generally seem to be happy. And if they're cranky, I don't want to deal with them. Anyway, that's enough of that. If you write to me and you have this kind of stuff, thank you for writing it. I'll put it in there. Maybe I'll talk about you. But if you feel that way, come on down to the villages. I'm sure you won't feel that way after you leave, because most of this stuff is nothing but BS media that's out there of people that haven't been to the villages. So enough of that nonsense. Let me say thank you so much for joining me and going through this questions and answers and comments. And make sure that don't forget to write any questions you have for Bob and Liz. So when I do that down the road, I can ask them. Anything else? Go ahead and put your comments and stuff down below. Oh, one more thing too. If you write me comments I can't edit those comments, but I don't have to put them up. I read every single one. If they have links in them or something like that, I don't post them, because I already had a problem where I posted something and somebody changed the link to something else afterwards and it wasn't the same thing. So I will not do that to the people that watch this channel. I will not put them at risk in any way, shape, or form. But thank you so much for subscribing. Have a wonderful day. And that's from one of these cranky old people down in the villages. And I'll either see you down in the villages or back here on YouTube. Thank you so much. Bye.